Factoring trinomials. When we factor trinomials, there are three types of problems you encounter. The first one is when all terms are positive. Okay? When all of your terms are positive, then both of your binomials, both of your factors, are going to have positive constants. Okay? Let's look at our example in our box using the FOIL method. Okay? If we were to FOIL out x plus 3, okay, and x plus 4, if we were multiplying those together, x times x, okay, our first term is x squared. Our outer terms, x times 4 is 4x. Our inner terms, 3 times x is 3x. And our last terms, 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, we combine like terms for our two middle terms. We combine together 4x and 3x into 7x. Okay, so we'd have x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay, when they're all positive, okay, our terms are going to be positive. Okay, so both binomials will be positive. Okay. The key to factoring and working backwards in this manner, okay, is to look at the last number in my trinomial, which would be 12 in this instance, and think about what numbers can I multiply together to get 12. Okay, so 12 times 1, 6 times 2, 3 times 4. Okay, now, but not all of those will work. Okay. The key to it is which of those numbers can I add together to get my middle term. Okay, so (3 times 4, 12 times 1, 6 times 2). Now, to add those together, okay, I get 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, 12 plus 1 is 13, and 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay. But I'm not looking for 13 because my middle term is 7. Okay, so 12 plus 1 won't work. 6 plus 2 won't work. Okay, the only one that fits into this particular problem is 3 and 4. Okay, so those are my two constant terms inside my parentheses. Okay, simple as that. What can I multiply together to get my last term in my trinomial? What can I add together to get my middle term? Okay, as far as the coefficient. Alright, let's try our first example. Alright, I can tell by looking at my trinomial that both of my, all my terms are positive, so it's going to be x plus something times x plus something. I know that. Now, what can I add together to get, what do I multiply together? What are my greatest common factors of 6? 6 times 1, 2 times 3, and that's pretty much it. Okay, what can I add together to get 7? Well, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So, obviously, the one I'm looking for is 6 plus 1, and those are my terms inside of my parentheses. It's pretty simple, guys, and you'll get better at this the more you practice it. Okay. Example number 2. Okay. Again, all my terms are going to be positive. What can I, and my greatest common factors of 24, okay, are going to be 24 and 1, 12 times 2, 8 times 3, 6 times 4, and I think that's it. All right. Now, which of those can I add together to get 14? Well, looking at those, 12 plus 24 plus 1, okay, is going to be 25. 12 plus 2 is 14. 8 plus 3 is 11, and 6 plus 4 is 10. Okay, obviously I'm looking for 14, so 12 and 2 are going to be my terms. And they're both positive, so it doesn't make any bit of difference which parentheses I write whichever one in. Okay, it doesn't matter at all. Alright, number 3. Okay. My terms of 48 are 48 and 1. And again, guys, you'll get much better at seeing these, and there's no need to keep going once you see that you've got one of the answers. So 48 plus 1 is going to be 49. 12 plus 4 is 16, and 16 plus 3 is 19. Okay, so that's going to be my answer. So my terms are going to be 16 plus 3. All of my terms are positive, so it's going to be x plus 16 and x plus 3. Simple. Okay. The next type of problem when factoring trinomials that you'll encounter is when only your middle term is negative. So your first term, your x squared term is going to be positive, and your last term is positive, but your middle one's negative. Okay, what does that mean? That means, okay, that both of your terms, okay, in your binomial or your factors are negative, because when you multiply those two together, you actually get a positive number for that product, for that last number. Okay, so pretty simple. You're just going to be thinking in terms of negative. So what can you multiply together? When you multiply negatives together, a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, but when you add them together, they'll be negative. Correct? All right. Look at example number 4. My middle term is negative, so I know that both of my factors are going to have negative constant terms. Okay, so x minus something times x minus something. Okay, now I'm going to look at my factors of 15, what I can multiply together to get, what negative numbers can I multiply together to get positive 15? Well, negative 15 times negative 1, negative 5 times negative 3. Okay, now when I add those up, negative 15 times plus negative 1 is negative 16. Negative 5 plus negative 3 is a negative 8, okay, which is what we're looking for. So those are going to be my terms. So x minus 5 and x minus 3 are my terms. Pretty simple. All right, example number 5. My middle term is negative, okay, so both of my factors are going to have negative constants, x minus something times x minus something. Now I've got to look at my terms of 30. Well, multiplying together 30, negative 30 times negative 1, or negative 10 times negative 3, negative 15 times negative 2. Okay, when I add all of these together, negative 30 plus negative 1 is a negative 31. Negative 10 plus a negative 3 is a negative 13, which is my answer, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, so my terms are going to be negative 10 and negative 3. No need to keep going any further. Once I find that right answer, I can go ahead and write those down and move on. Okay, again, these will get easier the more you do them. Number 6, okay, looking at this one, okay, again, my middle term is negative, so both of my coefficients inside my parentheses are going to be negative. Okay, and I can already tell looking at this that it's going to be 25 and 26, or 25 and 1, so it's going to be a negative 25 and a negative 1. The last problem that you'll encounter when factoring trinomials is when your last term is negative. This is the one that can be kind of tricky. When your last term is negative, okay, one of your coefficients is going to be positive inside of your parentheses, and one is going to be negative. Okay. The key that you have to remember here is that you're going to actually look at your middle term. Okay, if it is negative, then your biggest factor, okay, is going to be in the negative parentheses. It's going to be the negative number. If it's positive, then your largest term, okay, or your largest factor is going to be positive. Okay, so you look at your middle term. Okay, so in this example, x squared minus x minus 12. Well, it's a negative middle term. Okay, so my largest factor, okay, which we've already determined that the factors of this one are going to be 3 and 4. Okay, when I set this up, because my middle term is negative, okay, then I need to make sure that when I write in my parentheses x plus 3 and x minus 4, that 4 is in front of with the negative. Okay, that will create this negative x. Okay. Okay, so make sure that you look at the middle term. Make sure that if it's negative, then make sure that your larger factor is in the parentheses with the negative. If it's positive, make sure that your larger number is in the parentheses with the positive. Okay? Alright, let's practice. So, on number 7, my last term is negative. So I know that I'm going to have one parentheses that's going to have x plus something, and one parentheses that's going to have x minus something. Okay, I know that first off. Okay. Also, looking at my middle term, it's a negative 24, so my larger term is going to be negative. Okay. So 25 and 1, okay, those are really the only things that are going to give me the factors of 25 that are going to give me 24. Okay. And because my middle term's negative, my biggest factor, which is 25, okay, is going to go in that parentheses. So x plus 1 and times x minus 25. Okay? The easiest way to check these and make sure that you've got the right numbers in the right parentheses, okay, is to FOIL them out and see if you actually get the correct problem. Get the correct trinomial. Alright, problem number 8. X squared plus 7x minus 30. Okay? Because my last term's negative, it's going to be x plus something and x minus something. Those are going to be my factors. Okay, I do know that. Now I look at my middle term. Okay? X plus, this is plus 7x. Okay? So 7 is positive. So my larger factor will have to be positive. So what can I multiply together to get negative 30? Well, I can multiply a positive 10 and a negative 3, a positive 6, negative 5. Okay, I can already see that my answer is going to be positive 10 plus a negative 3 is going to be 7, which is my answer. Okay? So, because it's positive, my bigger number, which is 10, out of those two factors, is going to go in the parentheses with my plus sign. Don't forget. Alright. Number 9. Last term is negative, so x plus something, x minus something. My middle term is positive. Okay? So my factors, whatever factors are 35, my larger factor will need to be positive. So I can already tell that 7 times 5, okay, is 35. Okay? 35 times negative 1. Okay? So 7 plus a negative 5 gives me a 2. And that's what I'm looking for. So that's my answers. X plus 7, because my middle term is positive, so 7 will be positive.